Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. So today I am going to share with you my December meal plan. I meal plan breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional dessert as well. I'm going to do something different with my grocery hauls in December. I'm going to do a grocery shopping trip for my first 2 weeks of December, and then the rest of December. It'll be about 2.5 weeks. I love your kisses. So it'll be about 2.5 weeks, and that's because we're also trying to budget in. Yeah, we're also trying to budget in some stockpiling for December as well. So that's why we're doing it a little differently. This is my dry erase magnetic calendar that I like to keep up on my fridge, and I use it for menu planning. I love to put little notes at the bottom so that I remember when I'm meal planning. For example, there's no school in December from the 21st to the 31st, so 2 weeks there. And I need to make sure that I plan good lunches that week because we won't have enough leftovers for everybody, which is what the little kids and I will sometimes do. Christmas dinner, I started kind of getting a meal plan together here, and then just cookies to see Pinterest and try to keep some cookie things on hand in case we have time to make these extra cookies. Here is my key that I have at the top: red for breakfast, yellow for lunch, blue for dinner, and pink for dessert. You will see a lot of desserts planned. I will mix up what nights I make those. Some of them don't get made, some do, but I like to at least have a plan and have the ingredients ready. And then as I go through the month, if I make something that's out of order or we end up not making one thing, I'll just cross off what we do make so that way I know what I have planned for the rest of the month, and I can roll it over to January or totally scrap it and just remember that I have those ingredients to make something else. Honestly, if I know that I've already been shopping and I have the ingredients, I'll just move that meal over to the next month because that way those food items don't go to waste. But every once in a while I'll replan a dinner with those ingredients, but not the same one. So I'll read it to you because I know it's a little hard to read, and I'm gonna go kind of quick, but remember you can always pause it and write down an idea if you would like. Starting with week 1, pancakes for breakfast, PB&J for lunch, taco and corn for dinner, and hot chocolate dip. That is so delicious, the hot chocolate dip, and I use some graham crackers to dip it in. I think I'm planning to show you that, or if not, maybe I will now. Scrambled eggs for breakfast, mac and cheese for lunch, that is from the box, spaghetti with pull-apart, garlic bread, and a Caesar salad for dinner. Yogurt and granola, that's homemade granola that day. Chicken salad sandwiches for lunch. Cheeseburger casserole with carrots for dinner. Cranberry bars with cream cheese frosting. That is absolutely amazing. It is from another YouTuber that I like to watch, and I will link that down below on the day that I make those. And actually check the cards up above because I already made this and linked to her channel on another one. So you can find it there. Then on Friday, cranberry applesauce bread with smoothies for breakfast, leftovers for lunch, and pizza for dinner that night. And that is going to be a homemade crust I'm going to try out. Then Saturday morning is overnight French toast casserole, barbecue chicken, that's a barbecue shredded chicken on a sweet potato with a Caesar salad. We do big lunches on the weekends and smaller dinners. So that's for lunch, and then chocolate, I can't even talk right now, crack pot hot fudge cake for dessert that day, and BLTs for dinner then. Egg sandwich for breakfast, French onion Salisbury, mashed potatoes and corn for lunch that day. Remember, that's our big lunch or our big dinner type lunch day. And then tuna melts for dinner. Ham egg muffin cups for breakfast. We're just gonna do a super simple bagels and fruit for lunch that day. Homemade sloppy joes with some French fries for dinner, and Nutella fudge for dessert that day. Then it's Tuesday and we have egg potato cheese bake, grilled cheese sandwiches for lunch, and then a cranberry turkey. And that's actually going to be using a leftover turkey from Thanksgiving that I've already thrown in the deep freezer. Green beans and some homemade rolls to go with it for dinner that day. Overnight oatmeal on Wednesday, broccoli cheddar soup, and that is not the one from the bag that I usually make. I'm going to try and make my own, so we'll see how that goes. Kielbasa mac and cheese with some broccoli, and then a peanut butter lasagna, which actually I've already switched that and I forgot to write it down. Peanut butter lasagna I have switched down here for, I think, the Christmas tree brownies I switched. So, and I did that in my mind when I was meal planning, but forgot to write it down. So that is switched. But peanut butter lasagna is going to be a dessert that we have this month. Then oatmeal bread and smoothies for breakfast, bologna and cheese sandwiches, bacon cheddar soup, and some salad and some homemade French bread for dinner on Thursday night. Then we are going to have eggs and bread with a cheese and cracker homemade Lunchable, and I usually just do some fruit with that. Then for dinner, a quinoa enchilada with some sweetbread and a salad. And that, of course, is homemade bread. I've been doing all the homemade breads. Then chocolate chip muffins for breakfast. Mississippi chicken. I have not done this. I usually do a Mississippi pot roast, but we're going to have Mississippi chicken, which should be interesting. Then a rice and a vegetable. For dinner, we're going to have Mexican cornbread casserole with some homemade Mexican rice and some corn, and some Christmas crinkle cookies for dessert. This day, I just had one extra dinner planned, and I wanted to throw it in here because I wanted the leftovers for it. So we're going to have a big lunch and a bigger dinner that day, but that actually should work out. I planned it on this day because this is a very busy day for us, and I know that we're going to be out of the house and working a lot. And on those days that Mike and the kids are like the days that they rake leaves in the backyard for quite a while, or the days that they're off bike riding all afternoon, those days they come home really hungry and they actually want a big dinner even though they had a big lunch already. So I think that day will work out really well because I know we have a lot planned like that in the afternoon. So I think that'll work well that day. Then the next week we have scrambled eggs for breakfast, fish tacos with corn for lunch, leftovers for dinner, and a candy cane layered dessert. Now, the days I have leftovers for dinner on the weekends, those days I will sometimes make something very, very simple. Like I might make up a little bit of taco meat or something very simple like that. And I'll say you can have leftovers or you can have this unless we have a ton of leftovers, and then you're just picking leftovers. So it kind of depends just on how many leftovers we actually have left. Pineapple quick bread for breakfast, bologna and cheese sandwich for lunch, kielbasa broccoli cheddar bake with some homemade French bread for dinner that night. That kielbasa broccoli cheddar bake is so good. We love that one. It makes the regular rotation. Yogurt and granola for breakfast. That's a homemade granola. Hot dogs for lunch. Tomato tortellini soup with some salad and some homemade breadsticks on the side. Waffles for breakfast, and I do make my own waffles. Homemade waffles for breakfast. Homemade pizza Lunchables for lunch. Then chicken and wild rice soup with breadsticks for dinner that night, and some hot cocoa cookies for dessert. Egg sandwiches, those are a big favorite in our house, the egg sandwiches. Mac and cheese from the box for lunch that day. Chicken and bean burritos with corn and salad. Pancakes for breakfast, that's homemade again. PB&J, pizza for dinner, and eggnog snickerdoodles. I'm hoping to make those for dessert that night. And you'll notice that I cut our pizza nights down to just twice for the whole month. Yikes! Everyone, I don't know if there's going to be an uprising at my house or not. We'll see, because they like pizza every week. But I am so sick of pizza. I just could not do it one more month. We've had 3 months where we have pizza once a week, and I just can't possibly do it one more time. So I have done it twice a week, or twice a week, whoa, twice a month. And so we'll see how that works. Then ham and potato casserole for breakfast, stuffed shells and carrots, and some kind of a homemade bread. I don't know what I'm gonna make. I think it'll just depend on if I have leftovers or not. So I've got a homemade bread for lunch that day, and then tuna melts for dinner. The following week, we're almost there, 2 more weeks, a bundt pan bacon and egg and cheese bake. So it'll be interesting. I found that on Pinterest and thought it looked so good. We're gonna give it a try. Country chicken with carrots with a bread. I'm thinking probably sweet bread to go with that one, but we'll see. Again, it just depends on if we have leftover bread we have to get eaten up or not. BLTs for dinner that night, and then Christmas pinwheel cookies for dessert. Pumpkin donuts for breakfast, grilled cheese for lunch, Chipotle bowls with corn, and I like to set up my Chipotle bowl so everyone can kind of just pick and choose what goes in it. And we'll have some corn on the side, which some people will put in there as well, but I wanted to make sure I had a veggie planned. Christmas tree brownies, which, like I said, I swapped those with the PB lasagna, so we'll actually have peanut butter lasagna that night instead of the brownies. egg sandwiches for breakfast the next day, baked potato for lunch, melt-in-your-mouth chicken with mashed potatoes and green beans for dinner, oatmeal quick bread with crescent wrapped hot dogs, and I am actually trying to make my own crescent roll dough as well to wrap those in. I have a friend who does that and it goes really well for her, so we're gonna give it a try. Italian chicken and potatoes and cauliflower and sweetbread for dinner that night, and an eggnog cheesecake. I'm hoping to make that. It looked honestly super involved and I wasn't too sure how that was gonna go over, but the kids should be home from school, which kind of frees me up that day. Well, I guess I planned it on a Wednesday when they're home from school anyways, but there won't be schoolwork to do, so that I might attempt that. It just kind of looked like, I don't know, it looked intimidating, but I planned it because it sounded good. Eggs and bacon for breakfast, egg salad sandwiches for lunch, tortellini soup with some fruit, and homemade rolls for dinner on that Thursday night. Cinnamon rolls, homemade. I'm hoping homemade, but if there's a good sale, I'm gonna get the canned ones. So that is Christmas morning breakfast, and it's just gonna depend. I always like to make breakfast for Christmas morning the night before, or have the canned cinnamon rolls so it's super easy to open up. Then it says see below for lunch, because we're gonna have Christmas dinner for lunch, and that one I'm still planning, so working on that to see kind of what we want for the meal that day. Ham and bologna sandwiches, or ham or bologna sandwiches. It's basically snack the rest of the day. I usually make food for around 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon on a holiday. We have a big meal together and then it's just snack the rest of the day. Some people have leftovers, some want a sandwich, but I don't cook again. So it's like fend for yourself kind of a thing because there's plenty of food. So that's a holiday, so it's a little different. Then the day after Christmas, we have apple cinnamon muffins for breakfast, leftovers for lunch, cracked chicken for dinner, and Christmas layered Jello cups, because why not keep the whole Christmas thing going for all month. We've got eggs Benedict for breakfast, au gratin ham casserole with peaches and a vegetable. Now this is using up some of what I know will be left over from the ham from Christmas. Then maybe some leftovers for dinner, but I'm not thinking Christmas leftovers when I wrote that. I was thinking the leftovers from the week prior to Christmas, and some Oreo balls for dessert. Cake mix donuts for breakfast the next day, broccoli cheddar soup, that is the homemade one. Ham and potato corn chowder for dinner, and again using up some of that leftover ham from Christmas. Graham crackers dipped in chocolate for dessert. Then homemade pancakes, ham and cheese sandwiches. Those will either be cold or done like a grilled cheese on the griddle. Baked potato soup with a sweetbread for dinner that night. Egg sandwiches for breakfast. Spaghetti for lunch. Stuffed pepper soup and a cheddar cornbread. This is actually already in my deep freezer. It's a meal that I made early in the month of November, and it just made enough for a whole second meal, so I put it in the freezer and planned it for the end of December. Then we'll have Jello balls for dessert that night, and on the last day of December, I have cinnamon sugar donuts, bagels and fruit for lunch, and chicken parm and broccoli for dinner that night. That is my December meal plan. Hopefully it gave you some good ideas, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that you were able to get some ideas for meals for your family as well. Remember, you can always pause the video or listen to me talking if you would like and you can't understand something that was written down. That's always another good thing. I'm going to show you a lot of these meals in the coming month as well, but if you have questions, please leave me a comment down below and I will happily try to find a recipe to link for you or write it out for you as well. So thanks for watching today, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to check out more meal plans, more Teddy cuteness over here, large family life, and just join my small little corner of the internet. See you next time. Bye.